kind of porous rock, bring that water down underground, and it eventually gets collected where it can flow fastest. So the sinkhole, I was telling them, it's kind of like a storm drain in a parking lot, right? That water has to go somewhere, and it likes to go down. So it eventually dissolves out these vertical shafts like that one. We'll see in a minute. And all of those are formed to bring water down, take it to a horizontal kind of conduit thing. And that's what the main cave we're going to look at is. It's this big old underground, formerly underwater river. It used to be packed with water. Nowadays it ain't. It actually got plugged up, and then the river found a different way out. So the part of the cave we get to explore today is high and dry. It's piled up with this big, convenient, flat, safe pile of mud. We don't have to actually slosh around in anything, and we don't have to spend 2 weeks down there if the monsoon season comes around. So we do get to look at, we do get to look at springs. There's another one in the side of the cave that messes up the seating area. Here, I'll light it for you. Here you go. Can the camera get that?
Got it.
And we get to see a bunch of formations. The first one's actually right here. And it's going to try and drip on you as you come through. So here's our first shower. Yeah, check it out. This is rock that was blasted open with dynamite about 80 years ago when this cave was being opened up for tours. But check it out. It's got all the flowy stuff on it. It's made of stone. The scientists call this flowstone. And yeah, that's how far it can grow in 80 years. The little drapes on the bottom, we call these drapes, are getting toward quarter, third of an inch long. It's pretty fast as far as these things go. And yeah, it gives you a yardstick to determine how long these things take to grow. If that's 80 years worth, the big ones inside are, older. And what we're going to go into right now is kind of a little spiral of stair that was built into here just so we can get into the sinkhole and then follow stairs down through the sinkhole. Here we go. Careful of your cameras going under that dripping. Oh yeah. A little tiny river right here. Isn't that nice? That's what's coming down from the spring over there. Yep.
Oh, that's... Yeah.
Another little formation. Oh wow. Right on the rock. Broken open by the dynamite. So as you pass under here, hit it with your phone light. All of our new stuff right now is pretty white colored, so when you see one of those, that means it's still growing fast, like right at the moment. Also, there's a cool little fossil right here, which I just noticed, and it looks like the inside curl of a snail shell. So take a look at that. But remember guys, we're starting to get to where we've got formations potentially growing on every wall. The other walls are all formations, so we don't get to touch anything or bite it or taste it or, excavate it or anything. So watch your heads and hands. And that is a really neat one. Alright, here's a nice place if you didn't get a shower this morning. That's our sinkhole. And right here is where the bison skeleton was found. It fell and then didn't go anywhere else. Huh. So, there used to be a pile of mud here, but then they dug it out and put in some stairs. You might want to shelter your cameras right as you're going under this. I'm just going to kind of hug my flashlight like this. Here we go. See our teeny tiny river coming right down here? It's always neat. Doesn't actually do much most of the year. So that's a good one. Yeah, so
all over.
yeah, that's our first major stalagmite. This is the room where those moonshiners hanged out. They were camped out in here and brewing whiskey like through most of the Prohibition. And you see the ceiling is all black because they had a campfire to run their still with, right?
Yeah.
So that's not good for the cave. And they messed up this whole room pretty badly. And look, they threw rocks at these drapes apparently and did a number on them. And even the stuff that's not black with soot, it's got this discoloration to it. That's all bad stuff. That's what happens if people climb on our rocks or touch them. So that's why we don't get to poke them. It's because they start getting ugly like this.
So these aren't growing anymore?
Yeah, this stuff in this room is pretty much dead. But we are only halfway down, and you know, there were some half-drunk goofballs in here for probably 3 or 5 years. What is neat though is that we got a second drop-off right here, and we're pretty sure the only people going down this way were the first of the people going down this way weren't the moonshiners, but actually the neighbors' kids who came snooping around after the moonshiners had left, and they found those ladders that the hooch makers left behind, and came down here, and then descended this last little drop-off with a rope, and it was actually these kids who discovered the cave connected at the corner here, at the very bottom, and they let the word out, and a few months after the kids came through here, word had spread far enough for a dude from San Antonio to buy just this little chunk of the ranch that this cave was lying under. And he built those stairs and put in some lights and some gravel and opened it up in 1939. So for the last 80 years, we've been bringing people down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
He still owns it?
Oh, can you put it on?
It's a different. It's owned.
That looks like a bat.
It's changed hands. It may look like a bat,
Is that right?
but it is actually a piece of rock. You see. But yeah, we're starting to see good.
That would be a pretty big bat if that was.
So is it still family owned or?
It's owned by a businessman from Houston, privately owned. So it's still very much a private company. It's changed hands from the original dude who opened it up, right? Here, let's go inside. Might want to keep holding on to those handrails, by the way. Oh yeah, that's a new deposit though. Mud. So I want to step around.
Are you gonna be okay with that? Yeah. There's a mud right here.
Mud.
It's mud directly on the road. That's pretty good.
Hey, Dad, you read about it? Hey, you. That's our box that says "bad." Right here, that's actually the little tiny hole, the crawl space that the kids came in through. It's just to the left of the path here. So they had to sneak under there. It probably wasn't raining at the time. We're going to go through here. They blasted this out for us since then. You're going to get another little shower, so just be ready. Yeah? This is a cave. It's not a sinkhole no more.
Wow.
We get the cool stuff now.
This is a pretty big room.
Wow.
You see sinkholes like that one and that one right there kind of eventually find and connect to these big conduit caves. And all that water gets added to the river, back when there was a big old river through here, and it would all flow down out to a spring. And this cave was actually flowing that way. So that's the downstream end that we can access, and we're going to go over there, basically right now.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Yeah, why? I didn't have to bring that. I wonder if you were thinking that for a minute. Yeah.
So when the kids were coming through here, did they discover this, or was this discovered later on?
I think they came out right through there. And from what we understand, they went all the way to the back corner there, and they went all the way the other way over to the river. So I'm pretty sure they saw basically everything that was to see, but they only had like a little lantern, so they didn't get to see the detail of the formations. They did go the whole length though, from what we can tell. So these big dudes, apparently their little lantern wasn't good enough to show them an awful lot of the cool detail.
Wow.
The totem pole. And this one here is the onion. It's got dumb names for almost all of them. And I'm going to inflict them on you at will. Excellent.
In front of that.
Oh, sure.
Look at that.
Careful not to trip on these dudes.
Oh yeah, watch the.
If you trip on it and face plant, I'm going to have to hit you with a felony charge. No trying to attack the formations with your face. That's what you call insult to injury.
So why was the cave never named?
Good question. And it's actually a little bit of a weird story. They just never thought of a good name. The original owner opened the place up without a name because he couldn't think of anything good. And then he ran a competition like a year later. And he got all these entrants, and the prize went to a kid who said it was too pretty to get a name because he didn't like any of the other names.
There you go.
Right? So it's basically because he couldn't think of anything better, and so the name stuck. You see all these little skinny dudes?
Yeah.
Those are soda straws, and they're hollow little tubes. We're going to pass under a bunch of them in a moment, and these are going to do a lot of the dripping we'll see today. And of course, you've got your hanging fellas. See the big one there? Those are your stalactites that hang tight to the ceiling, tights. These guys that look like drapes or curtains, we call drapes or curtains. And then the ones that look like stalagmites are called stalagmites. That's your down low. We're going to go see some cool stuff real quick. It's a nice break. Yeah, we're going to see the whole dang place, but we get this room out of the way first.
Interesting.
Right?
There we go. As you come into this room, I'm going to point out a couple of cool stuff. A little bit of cool stuff. You guys see up in here? I'll hold my flashlight behind it.
Oh, it's hollow, huh? A little bit?
Oh, it's better than hollow. This is all crystal.
Oh, wow.
You see how the light gets through it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
These are all kinds of sideways crystal growths. They're called helictites. And these are what makes caverns of Sonora so famous. You remember we were talking about the butterfly? Here's a couple of more good ones. And some butterfly wings, or we call them fish fins in here. The butterfly in caverns of Sonora was made of two of these, except a little bigger and really pretty and stuck together. But this is the only place in our cave we've got these. There are certain, like, condensation and evaporation mechanisms that we only get right in this tiny room. Here's some more of that stuff, you see that? And here's our little soda straws. Remember how there's a bunch of formations that got broke off by the early tourists? This is where they were, and now they've been recolonized by these little tubes. So those are all 80 years old. And that little guy right there is trying to connect the mic here to the ceiling. It's really close. So that's within maybe 50 years, so we're all excited. We're planning a party. And especially, it's really incredible because each inch of this dude represents at least 200 years of growing. So we're within the last 50 years of a 10 or 15,000 year saga. Isn't that cool? It'll happen during our lifetimes. This is basically something you don't get to see in caves because there's so much time involved. Here's some more little crystal-y dudes if you want to film them. Those are really nice. And as we get further into the cave, every single formation in the cave is made of this same material. It may be a little bit more orange or a little bit more white. That's just impurities. What happens to them, though, is, you see right here, they get a little bit of mud on them. and a little bit of oxidation, and that's all it takes to make it start looking kind of dull and less crystally like the orange part of this fellow. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna find my next spot to stand. Have it right here. There we go. Did you guys get to see the little crystally fellas? Good, good, good. It's kind of hard with the little stuff. This is the only other room where we get little stuff. Here, check this out. Don't worry about that, that's just a ghost.
Yeah, I know, I keep thinking something's swimming.
It's an alligator ghost, maybe. See that? What's that look like?
Bacon.
Yeah, this is the bacon formation. We call these cave bacons.
Cave bacon.
We're not gonna run out of these anytime soon. There is lots of cave bacon through the cave. Like here's some right over there. Yeah, that's what the scientists call it. If you can see light through the drapery, it's called cave bacon. And then there's this stuff. See that white stuff? That's called cave popcorn by the experts. The alligator ghost agrees. And right up there, there's a cool one. It kind of looks like an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
See that? You have to be at the right angle.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, ice cream cone. Yeah. There's a carrot. And
That's a lot of scoops up there.
yeah, that's like a 40, 50 scoop ice cream.
Oh, this one's starting.
Yeah, look at that. We figured he looked kind of like a fried egg.
Yeah, fried egg.
Yeah, so check it out. It's got, you see that brown stuff on it? It's got a weird pattern right there. You can see that?
Cinnamon.
Yeah, it looks like cinnamon, doesn't it? You see how it's got two parallel lines and some crossing lines? That's somebody's footprint.
Really?
Yeah, somebody's sneaker print is on there.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's why we put a fence around it. It's not to keep it from escaping. It's to keep people from, you know, stepping on it again. And the only other one we got back here is the bunch of grapes formation. So you can come take a look at that guy. That's a nice
So
one.
cool.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Aaron, that might make it better.
Yeah, it does.
Here, can I go light on it, please? Yeah, go, you get it. Is that too bright? Never tell, cameras are weird about this. How about a little bit All right. Did you get to see the grapes back there? They're pretty neat. Ah. Oh yeah. Oops. Flashlight. That's the one that got broke off by those high school kids in the 90s. Yeah, you see that big one?
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, and it's a shame because this one was all still really crystalline. Check it out. I'm gonna hit it with my flashlight. Pardon me. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
The whole dang thing was still nice and translucent, but they freaking broke it off. Like, come on, guys. I don't even know why. Probably because they could. Well, fortunately, they didn't get to keep that. The other pieces, yeah, you found it. Nailed it. It's right there. Trying to hide some of our electrical equipment and failing. But they glued it back on here. But yeah, that glue only lasted for like 10 years. Which in normal circumstances is fine, but cave-wise, that is basically no time. So
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to find a glue that'll hold. There's some really good cave popcorn up here.
I think
There's-
broke off too, huh?
Yeah. I think they're probably the same kids got this. And if you look, all of our stalactites that are broken, can you see how it's got kind of radiating lines to it? There, that's a better light. That's all the crystals all aligned outward from this central pit. You see the hole in there? That's because all of our stalactites, proper stalactites, not the ones that begin as a drapery, the proper stalactites always start out as a soda straw. And then the soda straw gets plugged up, and then it starts growing layers and layers of stuff on the outside like an icicle. And so they grow from the inside out, and you get growth rings, and all the crystals are aligned outward. They're really cool. So when you get them broken, you actually get some science out of it. Not really worth it, but you do get to see some science.
There he is again.
Want to go see the giant pit of death?
The giant pit of death.
Yeah, now if you want to go swimming, that's the place not to do it. See the water down there? If you walk this way too far, you'll get off of the gravel and onto the natural mud. It's better than a river. That's just a
Wow, that's
hole.
nice and clean.
That's the hole into which we pump the water that's trying to fill up the concert hall.
Okay.
We're trying to keep it so that people can
Yeah.
like walk around in the concert hall, which is important if you don't
Yeah.
want to. Sure. I don't know, get drunk.
Which
or-
area is the concert hall?
We're coming up on it. It's on the other end.
On the other end, okay.
Yeah, this is the lowest place in this part of the cave because some scientists actually just dug this mud out. You see, this whole floor we've been walking on, the flat floor, it's all river mud from that old river. It actually built it up so high that it plugged up the cave in that back corner. You see, the ceiling starts going down, and then eventually it gets down low enough that it connects with the mud and it plugs up. But back here, the scientists dug it out to find out how dang much mud it took to plug up the whole cave. So that pit is 15 feet deep. Wow. And then they find the stone floor that the river actually carved. So this room is well over halfway full with mud. It's like it's 2/3 full. Uh-oh. Do we have a casualty?
This phone getting through several.
That's rough. Just be extra careful of that water at least. The cracks may be a little swirling.
So is there an exit out of that?
Not really. What we see happen is that the water we put back there slowly drains away, and it might be seeping back into the mud, and it might be seeping out through that end of the tunnel, or there might be another tunnel leg going off that way. It's a little less likely. Normally your conduit doesn't branch, but it might go off that way a little bit. Anyway, that water will stand in there, and sometimes we'll fill this thing up. And when this fills up, we can't pump it out of the front room anymore, and the whole dang chamber starts to get a couple inches in it. And so, back in 2002, that's what happened. We had like 6 inches of water all the way across this whole room.
Wow.
It was, well, your feet get wet, but it was really, really cool if you actually came and took a tour. So we're going to get out of the little room and go see the cool rooms again. Ready? Yeah. All right, that way. That just sounds really ominous.
On my camera?
No, the pipe at the back. Okay, it's raining right here if you want to get wet. Be careful.
And I think that's actually,
Yep, that's a little formation. It's just been trodden on a lot. I get that one, you can touch it if you want to get wet. So check it out. Here's our big main room. There's the pool that tries to take over the seating area, so we're pumping that out. And we've also got 2 more sinkholes that found this room and joined it. You see over here, here's one. Those 2 are actually connected up there somewhere. So that's the bottom of a sinkhole. Normally get to see the top, but not the bottom. And then there's another one over here. See that guy? And you can see how under it there's this big beard of formation hanging, where that water used to stream down. Yeah, that's actually a dripping today. So a little bit of water sneaking in through this guy. That's exciting. Here's another big beard, which means there's some sort of water flow up at the top. That's some of our longest drapes. And we're going to be in there shortly, but first we're going to loop around the back of these dudes and see some cool stuff. Like that big guy right there, normally it's completely dry for like 90% of the year. The formation above it, see how it's going like a shower head? That's apparently connected to a little like actual tunnel. So the water isn't seeping but flowing through a tube. And just when there's been a whole lot of rain, that guy will turn on and drip like crazy for a few days and then just turn completely off again. So we're lucky enough to be in that 10% of days right now. Yeah, it is making a mess over there. So people say it looks like, I don't know, a snake, or president's hair, or maybe whatever you want it to. Modern art. This one is a little bit easier. What's that look like?
people.
There's 2 people kissing back there.
Maybe kissing, maybe fighting. This is the nativity scene. Isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah.
I like that one. That's just a couple of wise men fighting over the gold. Something like that. I don't like that one. It's pretty. Yeah, those are
For the Christmas card.
yeah. We don't run out of Christmas stuff either.